5-year plan already started from inside. This cycle has to break. My son was young. He didn't know. Now it's different, right? Now you got to explain these things. People are growing. Now you see the effects you're having on people.
This week on He's a Guy, we sit with Andrew Bond, not just to talk redemption, but to ask, what does it actually take to become the man you were meant to be after the system called you something else?
It's deeper than just trying to get them a job or employment, right? Like Black ownership is the main thing that we promote mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything, and family.
Founder of BLESSE, creator of Project F Word, builder of blueprints for men's society for God. Andrew's not just helping men come home, he's breaking the cages they were never meant to live in.
I used to give people work. Now I'm stopping people from doing work. This is surreal. This ain't supposed to be my life, but when I see it, it's like, what did you contribute? What did you give back? I want to give more than I took.
This one's about post-incarceration realness, legacy over ego, and building value over virality. Tap in. Episode 19 of He's a Guy.
Welcome back. We got another edition here. He's a Guy podcast with the guys, you know? How you guys feeling today, man? You guys all right? Do some mental check-ins.
I'm saying, did you tell them to?
Oh, I was getting away with myself.
I always
huh?
forgetting, yeah.
Holy. You guys are doing a great job,
That's
though.
why we're a team, bro.
Yeah.
We gotta keep you alive.
Nah, facts. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know, shoot us a DM, anything you guys want to talk about or anything that we have spoken about you guys want to go into a little bit further. You guys are doing a great job. You know, today we just found out we got 1,000 subscribers on, 1,000 followers on Instagram. Subscriptions are going up. Everything's good. Tashawn's got gifts flowing out. He's letting us know. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are doing wonderful. Keep going. We're appreciative of all you guys. But mental check-ins. Let's go around the room. Start with Tashawn. How you doing, brother?
You're a real point guard. Give me the no looks. I'm actually doing really good today. I didn't eat all day till just now, so I feel a lot better because I ate, because I was hangry. I was driving, angry,
Frustrated
because I was hungry. Didn't eat all day. It was one of those days I was just super busy, but I'm feeling really optimistic. I saw a financial advisor and really sat down and crunched the numbers and really was like, let me stop hiding from my money and have a good relationship where I look at it regularly and like really nurture it. So I'm in like a real optimistic state because I'm like, let me just get serious about organizing a lot of things in my life, and that kind of excites me, rather than just being, I do a lot of hiding sometimes, I'm avoidant,
Is that why you don't answer my phone call?
That's crazy, yo. I'm putting my check in.
To the air, eh?
We're trying to bring down my check-in, brother.
I'm not trying to bring you up, bro. Just answer my call once in a while.
I'm blessed. I don't owe you money, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm blessed. Like, I'm optimistic. I'm happy we're doing this. I'm happy we have Andrew here with us. It's gonna be a good pod. So I'm truly excited.
Yes, sir. Terrell, what you saying, brother? Talk to me.
I'm good. I can't complain. Had a good week so far. Nothing crazy. Relaxing. Went to the gym. Felt young again. Ankles are still a little shaky, but
Get that strength back, brother. We need it.
Bless. Andrew, tell us how you feeling.
Feeling good, spirited, well infused to be here today. Thank you. And it's been a good week so far. It's early, but a lot of positive things. The year coming in the first quarter, finishing, and a lot of positive things is coming up. So I'm blessed to see that.
Blessed, brother. Thank you to have you, brother. We're thankful. Me, I'm inspired this top of the week, bro. A lot of things, like I said, talked to my brothers here earlier before we aired. Everybody's on the up and up about their finances, things like that. So that, that's inspiring as it is. But also we did a couple of things this weekend just as a group. Went to a comedy show. That was lit.
Hey.
You know what I mean? The day before we had a panel. Now the panel was cool. What I enjoyed was a little group discussion and stuff we had before. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I fought back tears like 2-3 times talking to these kids. You see a lot of reflection of things that you either overcame or things that you still struggle with. And they show up in these younger generations of kids. And it's like, damn. It's like these things that, everybody's telling you to help you better yourself. You're now trying to, give that back to the kids. And these kids are struggling with it. And like, for me, I can speak on these were things that I still have not been able to conquer, you know? And to see them, either whether it's like, you know, talking like this or whatever, not giving eye contact, not projecting their voice well enough, it's like, damn, like, not to say that they're not confident, but they're not comfortable. And then that shows up and you can see it. You know, even talking about, one of the kids was talking about racism and this, that, and the stuff that he was dealing with. It's like, damn, this world is scary, bro. You know what I'm saying? To have these kids grow up with that and know people that
endure, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like those type of things was like, it's fucked up in real life, you know? So just to see that come full circle and to know that they were kind of inspired to have us in the room. That was another thing that I was really, really grateful to be a part of. But yeah, otherwise my work week is kicking off. Eid's about to kick in. Ramadan's about to finish. So I know haircuts are being booked and all type of stuff. So I'm about to be really, really busy. Today was a busy day, but again, feeling high spirited and grateful and thankful. So I'm good as of right now, you know? Dion.
Love that. Honestly, I'm feeling really, really good. Like coming off of, like you said, the weekend that we had, doing all this, I just feel like this community building.
Mm-hmm.
And then the week before that, we had our second annual,
our
second men's mental health brunch.
Talk about
that. Was like truly successful, just to see all the brothers that came out, you know, took their put this in their Sunday calendar, really dove into the exercises and just like were just there for themselves to build and to learn and just breaking down a goal setting. It was really cool to see because a lot of people that were in the room never really broke down a goal. You know what I mean? Said, oh, I want to be this, but never really broke it down. So it was really cool to see. And then full circle moment, Wes gave us all the tickets to go to the comedy show and to see some of them there. Like I'm grateful to see that the community that Mind State U was building. So
really important.
Bare gratitude, bro. You got. I even forgot about all those things. I was like, damn. I'm glad you guys brought them up. Like, damn, like
that's what's inspiring because like that's how fast things move. But like when you speak to those things, it's like those are the things that leave long lasting impressions, and we hope to pass those things on further.
And something profound that Julie said was like, be where your feet are, and like this past couple of weeks, like I really just felt grounded and just immersed into everything that was going on, and I was like blown away. Like, yeah, we're doing it. Like
it's important staying in the present, right?
Yeah,
in the present, right?
And just be grateful for where we are and the experiences that we get to experience and the people that we're around, man. Like it's been amazing.
No, you're absolutely right, bro. And you look good in money green. But no, but even at the comedy show, like a guy came up to us and he put his arm around one of us and he was like, yo, guys, do not stop the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, keep going with it, bro. We need it. He said we need it. I was like, damn.
Like even reading some of the comments, like I was reading some of the comments and they're like, yo, like for the African the Black African community, like we need this for the people. Like this is so important.
No, most definitely. If I could speak quickly on that,
of
coming there, just saying you guys, just seeing you guys on. I'm not really an internet online person, but I see the post and I catch it and I'm like, you know what? There's some interesting stuff, and for our city and our culture, this is needed.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's needed. We need more platforms like this. We need to have people on here that can express and have a place to speak their mind. And this place right here, what you guys have created, is doing that. So
super
don't know. Big ups to you guys.
I appreciate you, brother. I really do, man.
Yeah, man. Today's episode is a very, very important one. We're super excited to have our guest Andrew here. To kick things off, Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're into, what you do? Give us a little brief introduction about, bro.
For me, my name's Andrew Bond. Grew up here, born and raised in Toronto. Went through a lot of things in life, but right now, at the point where I'm at right now in life, got a couple business endeavors going on. Do management, film production company started.
Hard.
Publishing company started. Also have a social enterprise started too. There's significance to that, given that my past and where I'm going through right now, about 16 months now, just been released from incarceration. And in that time, I was able to start those 4 companies.
Congratulations.
Wow. First and foremost, 100%.
Congratulations, fam. That's large.
Appreciate that.
Came out of that, hit the ground running with some motives and things to do with that. That's big.
Definitely.
You know, can you tell us a little bit what that day-to-day looks like with running these businesses and stuff like that, if you wanted to lean into that?
Well, what takes most of my time, I'll be honest with you, doing this community work. Like a lot of what I do right now is giving back to those in situations like myself.
Yeah.
The company I started, BLESSE, Born Leaders Elite, Sanctified Social Enterprise. So it's BLESSE,
Can you
BLESSE.
say that again real quick?
BLESSE, BLESSE. That's the name of the organization, right?
BLESSE.
So with that right now, we deal with helping men that came from situations like me, incarcerated Black individuals, when they come out, help them with reintegration, help them get their mind right, help them put them in the right focus. But it's deeper than just trying to get them a job or employment, right? Like my moniker for this, or mantra, is letting them know that Black ownership is the main thing that we promote: mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, everything, and family. And with that, we want them not to just be a leader in one aspect, but you got to encompass everything. And it entails a lot. It comes from a lot, but you've been through a lot. So you ain't got nothing to lose if you at rock bottom, right?
True.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, brother.
The bar right there.
That's what I'm saying. There's none to lose after that. I hear that, brother. Can you share a bit about because I know you talked about a little bit of your past. Can you share a bit about what your life has been like leading on to that past and how things kind of started? I just want to kind of, get to know Andrew a bit.
Like growing up in the city, grew up in the East End, Scarborough, and just seeing the everyday things, like grew up 90s era, 2000s era, like that. You seen how that goes growing up, and just being basically a product of my environment, and got caught up in the same situations a lot of people did. And, but for me, it wasn't about looking what other people did, like being a follower. So even though right now my company's Born Leaders, I was always that type of person where I was in the leading role. I've never had a co-accuse. All my situations that I ever been in was just me. So knowing that and going through that, it takes a toll on you, but it just lets you know that there's a bigger picture. But it took many years before I got to realize that bigger picture. But leading into stuff like incarceration, charges here, firearm charges, whole bunch of stuff. I've been through it all. And to say that what's the difference? Black guy. Everybody's been to jail. Everybody's been what? But for me, my situation, why I speak on it is different. If there's a key point, I could touch on that right now that places me in a different light. It's because of my record. If this was LA, the 3 strikes law, I wouldn't be here right now. This interview wouldn't be being conducted right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be an option. Fam we would have never had that conversation.
Yeah.
So looking at that, I've been to federal 3 times. That's nothing to glorify or be proud of, but it's a reality. But with that being said, I'm here now.
Amen.
Happy to have you here, brother.
Yeah, I mean, super
Bless you,
congratulations. What were some of those turning points for you in terms of like that you kind of say, hey, you know what, this needs to change for me?
That was a long journey, I'll tell you that. Because I could give you right now, like, I spent most of my 20s in jail, spent most of my 30s in jail. I even turned 40 in jail. And being at that time and seeing that this was the worst situation I was in, lengthwise, time-wise, I was like, how much more am I going to give? There has to be a breaking point to this. This cycle has to break. It wasn't like the same when my son was young. He didn't know. Now it's different, right? Now you got to explain these things. People are growing. Now you see the effects you're having on people.
Yeah.
Families getting ill, different situations. You have your people outside waiting for you. You got them holding you down, but you're gone. So you got to take it inside and have that mental check with yourself. Like, how much more am I going to give to who? Who's really winning? Who's really benefiting?
It's funny that you say that too. Like, it's not the same thing, but like when I was playing basketball, I felt a lot of the same things that you were saying when I was away. Like, I felt like my family's old. My family's old. I'm getting older. I'm just here and they're all existing and doing all these things, and I'm away not experiencing birthdays or whatever.
Exactly.
And it ate at me. So I could only imagine, like, I'm still moving around. I could only imagine how you felt in the situation that you were in. And like you said, your 20s, 30s, and you turned 40 there. Like, I couldn't even imagine it.
Does your mind kind of change in each stint that you do? So you say you're 20s. When you're in your 20s and you're inside now, does it like, yo, I can't wait to get out just to kind of get back to that? Or how was your mental state in each of those phases, if you don't mind me asking?
For me, like I said, growing up in that era, things were different. The system was different.
Mhm.
Inside was different. The code was different. The morals were different. But for me, like I said, I've always been kind of like, not necessarily a lone wolf, but I walk by my own path.
Yeah.
And being caught up in the cycle of thinking that, I wouldn't say it's like an image or ideology, but I had a perception of myself that this is who I am. And words are powerful. So when you speak certain words and say certain things and call yourself certain things, you bring those things into existence. So I didn't realize that at those times. So when I was saying certain things, it was like I was bringing this on myself. And by bringing it on myself, I looked at it like I'm living that life. I'm really living that life. He's a guy. Back then, we never used to say that, but yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You're a guy.
Yeah.
So you know what you do. You do what you do. You kept it thorough. You've been on that and you lived in, you did what you did. But after cycle, it's like, what's going by? Everybody that I knew outside is advancing, passing, new kids, houses, cars. They're on road. Some of them were doing their things too. Others fully legit, but they're progressing. When I come back out, it's like, I feel like I'm in rush mode to keep up with the people that I'm around. But I always pass them. So it's like, yeah, I surpassed them, but for how long? Back in.
Halted.
Next few years, out again. Pass them, back in. So in the end, who really won? Yeah, I reached certain levels on certain things, but who really won? At what price? So that's what started coming to me more and more as the later years, right?
Yeah.
Tashawn, you say this a lot, actually. Probably one of the only people that I know that have said it to me. Personally, I hear it, but that the words mean power. That's what I thought of when they said that, when Andrew said that. But you said even when it comes to like talking about a lot of Black people say it now, like, I'm broke, baby, or I'm this, or I'm that. And that it starts to encompass, certain things that you, or the lifestyle that you live.
You embody it.
You see what I'm saying? You start to embody that. Obviously, you hear it when it comes to the broke thing. We laugh, we joke, whatever. Even if we do have a little money, but yeah, I just, when you said that, it just made me click into that. Like,
it's real.
That embodiment is nuts.
Because like he's saying like facts in the sense that like those words, like my barber always says, like words are spelling. Spelling spells.
Real.
So it's like these are the things you're casting out into the world. And it's like now you start thinking like that. You say, I'm broke, you start thinking like you're broke. You start hanging around people who are broke. And then you're in a place where you're putting yourself around survivors. And when you're around survivors, now everybody's broke. Everybody's trying to pull each other down. Like you start really, you embody that.
It magnifies that frequency. When you're that's what the projects, ghetto, the ends, whatever you want to call it, that's what it does. It magnifies. When you have a group of people with the same frequency, same energy, at the same place, it's what the Greek gods used to say about them. When you give them that energy, that's when they lose their power, when you don't pray to them no more. It's the same kind of thing. When you feed into that negativity, it's only going to harness. It's going to harness it in one place, right? So you got to break that cycle. Even if you're there, you could still break it, but it's mental, right?
Terrell, growing up where you grew up, I know you've seen some of these type of things where guys are going away on stints or whatever the case and then coming home. Can you speak to the other side of that? Like, what did that sound like when you hear Andrew speak to that now, where people are out there progressing and now you see your homies come home?
Honestly, it hurts, right? Because you see the potential in a lot of these people, but like he said something that stood out to me. It was like, you see, our podcast is called He's a Guy. In the hood, when you say he's the guy,
different,
we all know it's a different meaning. It's like, you're not gonna mess with that guy. That guy has all the girls. That guy has all the guns. That guy has all the money. Whatever the case may be. So like I'm hearing Andrew talking, I hear the pain in his voice, and he just sounds like, oh my guys, right? Because like I said, it hurts to see them go in with all this potential, and you don't see them for 5-6 years, and then now they're trying to play catch up, and you're helping them, and then when they get there, it's like bang, they messed up and they did it again, and then they go back. So like when I hearing him talk, and I'm getting shivers talking about it right now, right? Because like you see it over and over, and prime example is like one of my family members, right? He's really stuck in his ways, right? And he's trying, but as soon as he feels like it's not going his way, he wants to go back
to what he
he
knows.
was doing, right? And then like I always preach to him, and I always tell him, I was like, that's just God testing you, bro. Like, stay with it. I know you're not making what you were making before, but what's more important? Freedom, your family seeing you all the time, and we can see you whenever, or seeing you behind a wall, which, we all break down when we see you. So, like when I'm hearing Andrew talk, it's just, tell you guys, it's hitting home.
Yeah. Andrew, how did you cope with some of the hardships, and what kind of kept you going and seemed like when things seemed at their lowest?
When things seemed at their lowest, what put me out of it was faulty warrants and double digits sentences. To be honest, when you're facing a system that's gonna use whatever it takes to get you, and when you're already stuck with a record, it's easy to pin you for anything. They can pinpoint and switch things. Like if you knew my case and knew the real severity of the case, you're like, how did you even get charged? For one, the JP who they went to get the warrant from denied the warrant. Said, no, this is not sufficient. When is this? There's no proof to back this up. Denied it. They went around back doors, got a warrant, got arrested.
That type of stuff doesn't get thrown out like shown on TV, eh?
It goes back to the system. When if you're using legal aid or you're paying your lawyer or certain lawyers, depending on the circumstances,
they want you. They'll get you.
They want you, and then even with my situation when I went to trial, the judge said, "Oh, the phone situation, they didn't have warrants for the phone, but they used the pin towers anyway. Illegal. That's a whole different situation.
Yeah.
That's a whole different situation, civil situation, all that. But to go on that, using the faulty evidence, the judge explained the whole case. So you want this thrown out because if this gets thrown out, XYZ gets thrown out. I'm not doing that." From I heard that, I just sat back and was like, we're done.
Yeah, speed this up.
This is done. This is day 2 of trial. I'm like, this is over. How do you face those odds? Now, like I said, a lot of time in, many sentences, but how I break this down, because I go to schools and I talk to kids, but we could talk about it after. But we're in 2025 now. In the last 25 years, I did 17 inside. Sporadically.
Yeah.
Sporadically. That's madness. So I'm supposed to go do this now again? Now knowing what I know?
Yeah.
Because inside I did a lot of intuitive knowledge, gaining, spiritual maturity, a lot of things change. But am I supposed to give them? How much more am I supposed to give? No, I can't do that.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's change a little gears. Talk about how you go into the schools and kind of give knowledge to the kids about,
Well, right now, through several organizations I work with, a lot of different grassroots organizations amongst my own. But when I came out, was blessed with the opportunity to have that space, because when I was inside, I utilized my time right. When I was inside, I was an ethnocultural rep, canteen key holder. I was putting on programs for ethnocultural purposes. So all that was preparation for the goal that I had, the plan that I had. So when I tell a lot of people, when they say you have to have a 5-year plan when you came out, I completed my 5-year plan in my first year out.
Amazing.
Because my 5-year plan already started from inside. So knowing that, like I said, gaining the knowledge, finding out who's what, trademarks, what's this business, what's a social enterprise, from the difference from non-for-profit, learning all these different things and just picking out who's who and what's what from what's needed to start businesses, to formulate these things and getting that. Putting all those things in place so when I, like you said, when I come out, hit the ground running. So when I came out, started the business 3 months after I came out, the first one. A couple months later, started the next one. Then with these organizations now, started going into schools, started doing like community events, keynote speaking, podcasts, and just really trying to give back, but in the sense of not just like, oh, don't do this, don't do this. I'm here to show them like, I am the example of what's going to happen to you. When you're going to the maximum security, I've been there. I know where you're going. Whatever charge you want to say you faced or whatever, I know those people. I've been around that my whole life. You 18, 19, 20 years old, this is what you're looking at it. How many times when they talk about recidivism, I lived that life, but do I want to be the poster boy for that? No. Who would? But that's all you're doing when you continue doing that. So it's like, I always consider myself a entrepreneur, a hustler. So I'm like, if I can hustle and do whatever, this is not the only way to do it. If I'm a real hustler, if I'm a real go-getter, if I can really do my thing, I could do that with anything. So, like you said, it all comes from knowledge. So I gained that knowledge, gained that information, and turned it into something that I knew when I come out, I could utilize.
That's so important, bro. That's why I look to, the rest of you guys, and Tashawn, you had this idea, let's do a podcast, you know what I'm saying? We have knowledge, we have different things that we can give out to people. And just, whether it's actual knowledge that's factual or just a different perspective to give people, just to sit down and think about,
It's conversation.
You know what I'm saying? That's what breeds everything.
And that's what, exactly. That's what we don't do in our community.
Enough of, for sure.
So, like I said, once again, blessed to you guys for that. Providing that platform.
And blessing to you, brother, because it's like, I think a lot of people have this ease of coming in and talking about what they did right in their life. And I feel like on podcasts, we always hear like, oh, how did you make $1 million? How did you build this? But it's like, to be able to speak on what you did wrong takes a level of vulnerability, because it's like you could have easily came out and swept that under the rug and tried to do something completely different and not really use the mistakes you made, the learnings you had to help others and help push others forward. So like, that says a lot about your character. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, even like you coming on here is like, to speak on this is like, that's not easy to do. Because like, I have a hard time speaking on, we all have hard times on speaking on the mistakes we made and the things that didn't go right in our lives. So for you to come and do that and share that with people so they don't make similar mistakes, brother, it means the world, man.
It speaks to you for sure.
But I say to that, it's purpose, brother. When there's purpose, that's a whole different situation. And just to shed light on something like even my mother told me, that all those years that you did, that was school. And now you graduated. You gained the knowledge that you needed to. You got the experience you needed to. And now it's time to graduate. Now you go in the world and utilize that experience and that knowledge. So at the end of the day, I look at it as a blessing. This is all meant to be. It's all part of the process. And when you hit that pinnacle and you find out that what your real purpose is and your real meaning is, you realize, okay, yeah, I did all this, but that was to be able to be here right now. It's almost like you're time traveling in a sense. It's weird to say it, but if you understand what I'm saying, like what you did in the past was meant for here now. So it's like you went through it back then, so you could be who you went to be now. Now you're in the realm, the right place where you're supposed to be, based off of those experiences. So now you're able to give back. And in the times that we're living in, a friend of mine said the other day, you need monsters to catch monsters. Not saying that that's me, but I lived that lifestyle for so long that I understand it. And those are the people who are going to be able to talk back and at least encourage these youths to look, you don't want to go that route. This is what that route looks like. I ain't telling you to stop because you're a grown man. You're going to make a decision. But this is what it looks like.
Yo, I actually super appreciate that even, just I hope the viewers really take that into account where you say it takes monsters to catch monsters, but you're trying to catch them before they even caught up.
Become monsters.
You know what I'm saying? That's super important. I don't want that to go over anybody's heads that's viewing that. because, you know, you a lot of Jay-Z bars that I'm saying in my head that is like, you know, I did that so you don't have to go through that type of talk, you know?
Exactly.
So I want to ask you, how do you define your success or happiness now a little bit differently than you did before?
The way I define my success now
Or happiness. It doesn't have to be
or
success.
happiness, but how I look at it now is now I'm able to do something that's productive, but not just in the sense of being productive. It's like when you come from that negativity and you've lived so much and caused so much detriment and pain and anguish, is that what you want to be remembered for? Is that like, at the end of the day, I'm going to show you something. When I was inside, I did a Toastmasters class. Toastmasters teach you to do public speaking and stuff like that. Like I said, I prepped for this. With no teacher, no nothing, I just run and gun, basically. Just having that will to be like, yo, I'm doing this. With no path, no way, but nothing stopping. Just the Father, God, and that's it. So in that, we do icebreakers. And in that icebreaker, you get 7 minutes to do a little icebreaker. So my icebreaker was that in that 7 minutes, I'm going to explain why I don't want to be a 5-minute just talk. Where every year, I'm out here doing all this stuff for what? Then I die, or I'm in jail, I'm locked up. My friends are out there. Oh, it's his birthday. It's his Earth Strong. Yo, light up. Yo, pour a little. Yo, free my boy. All these years, all the work I put in, that's all I'm worth? A 5-minute speech once a year on my birthday, or that's it? That's what I came and spent all these years on this earth just to be that 5-minute thing that I'm going to be left in a 7-minute speech? Nah. So with that, and I gained that idea from a person that came inside and visited us one day and did during Black History Month, and he was speaking, and he was like, when you're given the gift of life, it's a gift. To be here in the present, it's a gift. What are you doing with that gift? What did you do with it? God gave you that gift, and what did you do? That 5 minutes, that's all you are? A guy who went to jail a lot of times? Yo, he's solid. That's it? That's all you became? Yeah, you made a lot of money, you had girls, you had this, that, that's it? You got to be more than that. Our purpose on this planet is for more than that. And I realized that, and I realized the strength that you have when you do that. So success for me is being able to wake up every day and do what I want without having to worry about the major things like police. I'm walking with this, there's beef here, there's beef there. You have that post-traumatic syndrome. It still hits you, but at the same time, when you know you're calm, and at the same time, when you know you're out here doing good for people, like when you're actually saving lives, like I could actually say lives are saved without the situations, but lives are being saved. Feuds are being stopped. People are not using anymore. When you have people saying, please just stay on the phone with me so I don't use. I used to give people work. Now I'm stopping people from doing work. This is surreal. This ain't supposed to be my life, but when I see it, it's like, it's a different feeling. So knowing that, like I said, this is nothing to glorify, but just being out here and trying to make that difference and make it count for something, that's what's important. That's success to me. What you being left as, what you being remembered as, that's your legacy, right? But it's not just for personal gain. It's what did you contribute? What did you give back? I want to give more than I took. I took a lot. So I'm trying to give back more.
It's fucking powerful, dog.
I'm speechless, bro.
You know how powerful that is, dog.
It's real though. It's real life.
Yeah.
It's real life. And it's not even to be like a sermon. It's just explaining life. When you're out here in the streets and you're living in these institutions, you see it. Like there's a lot of man in there right now going through it. I don't even care what block. Burn all the polys. This block, that block. Because that's, when you look at it, then it is nonsense. I'm going to say it right now live on this. It's nonsense. But we bigger than that. There's more for us out here than that. And that's what we just got to know. Even if you don't unify or you don't come as one, if you're coming with positivity, that's what the biggest thing is. Being productive.
So when, say now after these stints are over, you come back to people that know you for what you used to be. Sure, another thing that a lot of the guys here talk about is, you know, we are labeled as this, like a Gallus, or we're labeled as the money man, or we're labeled as this, and sometimes you just fall into that because it's easy, because that's what people place upon us, right? So with your title being whatever it was on road, what do you say to some of those people now when you come back? It's like, I'm done with that.
The funny thing is, from my situation, I don't hear that. I hear, yo, my boy, stay away from them thing that.
I love that.
Yo, road, fam.
Stay on, yeah?
Because, like I said, 17 out of the 25, that wasn't one long sentence. Sporadic. 3 pen bids, multiple provincial bids, all that. So, man, I'm like, yo, fam, stay on road, live. So even those people who are negative and doing whatever they're doing or however they're living, people from the past, even they're the ones saying, yo, listen, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it. They need it. The youths need it. The people need it. This is your purpose. You already done what you did. We know who you are. There's no more, there's nothing more to prove. And there was never, it's not like it was a proving thing, but as a black man, we go through a thing where the ego, that's the most thing you have to learn how to channel and control, the ego. That's the most hardest thing. You don't even have to be in the streets to have the ego issue. We as a culture, as black people, it's something different with us. I don't know why, or we actually know why, but that's a whole nother show. But you get it, like, we have a situation, like, why are we the only ones that look at, like, yo, man, a bad mind, or this, or I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Well, the racists don't look at it like that. They don't compete. They're not killing each other over those things that we are. It's the ego. Once you learn how to master that or control that or contain that and put that aside, you'll be able to move forward and be able to see things clearer and understand that not everything's personal. And then you'll see the factors of, like, yo, what really needs to be done? What really matters? And once you do that and you're surrounded with people like that, you'll see the positivity grow. A lot of this, what I'm doing, came from, proper preparation, but it was more like just faith and believing and keeping that positivity, keeping the people that are around me in the right mind space, only having the select people around me. And then more opportunities came. So that's what you got to master.
This episode is brought to you in part by TDT Security. We got what you need. We do restaurants, we do bars, we do clubs, we even do private security. Just let us know what you need. Or you can find us at TDT Security on Instagram. Thank you. Cool. I have a question for you. I don't know if you might have asked it well, because I'm like deep into your stories, just sitting here listening. But when did it hit you, like saying, like, I can't do this no more? Like, I'm done with all this and I want my life to be positive now. Because I'm going to give you an example so you understand what I'm saying. So when it hit me, like, I hung around with a lot of guys that were doing bad things, whatever the case may be. And one day I went to school and I came back, and then there's always that house where everybody chills at. And I went to the house and all the men were there, loading up straps, doing the most. I felt like I walked into a booby trap. So I'm like, whoa. Can't be, what's going on here? The man said, yo, you down to ride? Ride for what? Yo, man, this the man, and we gotta go ride. So, yo, I'm gonna be right back. I never went back. I'm gonna be honest with you, I never went back. And then, like, I think 2 days later, they're like, oh, one of the men got knocked, whatever the case may be, long story short. And then I think maybe 2-3 months later, my girl told me she was pregnant.
Wow.
Right? And God knows where I would have been if I didn't walk out that house, right? And that's where it changed my mind, where I'm like, she's pregnant, she's gonna have my son, my daughter, whoever it might be, and she needs me. So I needed to slowly distance myself from those guys or those situations, but not like distance them so they felt away, but it was like slowly just move away. You know what I mean? Right? And they didn't take it no way, which was the good thing, because they're like, oh, he's a good man. He's just going to school now. He's not dealing with none. He's not really around like that. He's not in the ends anymore. Like, but it wasn't even that. It was just like they didn't understand. And you can't explain certain things to certain people because they're not gonna understand because they're living a different lifestyle, right? So when my girl told me that she was pregnant, I just knew I had to get away and push away. So that's what I'm asking you is like, when did it hit you when you're like, I know you said like your 20s, your 30s, and when you even said your 40s, but when did it hit you and you're like
what was that moment?
Yeah, like
that's a multi-layered answer. But one of the pieces to that I'd say is knowing that I could be charged with a gun that was never found on me. Knowing that I'm in another part of the city and they found something somewhere, and based off of baseless evidence or baseless accusations that had nothing to do with that place, and just seeing the faultiness, knowing that, yo, it's real. And the amount of time they want for it being that real, it's like, you definitely can't beat the system. I don't have a fourth one in me. I'm gonna get roofed. It's done. And like I said, just having that ideology where it's like, if this was LA, I'd be done.
Cooked still.
There'll be 3 strikes, I'll be done. And like I said, when you're stacked against those odds, it's like, when do you realize? Like I said, all those years, it all plays with, as I said, it's multi-layered. It's like, you have to sit down and say, now, double digits at this stage and age in the game, I can't give you guys that.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, it is. I did the time, I did what I did, but it's like, am I going to put that into motion again? What's the definition of insanity? Pretty sure we all heard that already.
Absolutely.
I like
So what am I, mud?
I like that one.
How much more am I going to really do?
You know what I like that you keep referencing? Like the 3 strikes in LA. And like, I think back to like watching like Beyond Scared Straight. And a lot of times these guys are talking to them from a position of being in jail. What I like about your story is like, you're on road now. You're teaching these kids like, okay, look, I did this, but this is what I'm on now. And like the positivity is just flowing through you. Like you said, people around you are like, yo, keep doing this, keep on road. And like, when I think of an OG, that's what I think about. You know what I mean? Like, I did what I did, but I realized like you said, I can't give any more of that to that. I did so much negative.
Who's gaining?
Exactly, right? So like,
whose machine are you feeding? It's not my family.
Whoever it is, it's not benefiting nothing you got going. For sure.
Who, the system?
Mm-hmm.
Paying for for what? The lawyer to have his watch?
Pretty much.
Fuck.
Paying for what? The nurse in the institutions? What? Roof? Because she has to fix her roof? I'm like, what am I? Just a piece of a receipt?
A number.
Literally, that's what you are.
Yeah.
You have a number, FPS number.
Yeah.
But I just want to say one thing for the guys that are in there who are going through it. A lot of their stories don't get heard. A lot of people don't get to understand and see what's really going on with them. There's a lot of people in there with great talent and that have great understanding and knowledge and things to share. But because of that cycle, because of that ego, which, yeah, we could say and blame us, but a lot of it was constructed in a way where, look at the environments you're in, look what's placed in there. What did they teach you in school?
Yeah.
Where's our leaders? So back to your original question, it's about having those examples, being those examples.
Mm-hmm.
They need to see, like you said, it's not that I'm trying to claim an OG status or that's what I'm in it for or anything like that. It's just that I see what's going on. When I'm on these ranges and I see these young guys coming in, it's like, bam, they got 20 years on their first one. It's done. It's not done, but they're 19 and now they're going to do 20 years. I know a brother that just got out a month after I did, and he just did 32 years.
It's crazy.
Straight.
Ew.
I went to school for 4 years.
So I'm saying? Long,
and I felt like that was long, brother. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, when I'm hearing these numbers, like, these are like jersey numbers.
Dog, I just reached 33, fam. I mean, I did 32. That's how I processed what he just said.
Nah, and
you see what I'm saying? That's how I just processed that.
So who am I to complain about my sentence?
No, I think you could still complain though.
Of course, but
they always say when you're complaining, who's listening, right?
Wow.
You're complaining to deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, something that I tell my son, no one's gonna feel sorry for you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta go out there and you gotta get it. You gotta play hard. You gotta do this because no one's gonna say here. You know, so
You want better, you got to do better.
Straight.
And this is the thing, a lot of these younger cats, these younger kids out there, they don't know what to do. Where's the example? They learn off of success. They learn off of wins.
Mm-hmm.
He's winning.
Can't learn off of wins, facts.
So you got to show them that you could still win. We just had that conversation earlier, and I just heard all of you guys talking about investments, real estate, insurance, different things. They need to hear this. This is not what's happening. These conversations they're not having that on a regular basis. They don't know. And to talk to them, it can't just be anybody just because, oh, you're black. You can do that, right? They got to have people that they can actually relate to. People who can know how to break it down for them in a way that they can understand and that they can see like, yo, he's actually doing it. He's not just talking it.
Mm-hmm.
I see him doing this thing. How is he doing it? And you don't have to turn like some weirdo or turn some different way to be that person.
Yeah.
All the men are still here doing their thing every day. And they ain't got to turn like you're sellout or you went this route or you're living this type of lifestyle. You're still being yourself, still putting on. So that's what's important for them to see that these things are possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said earlier, this is important for the culture. They need to see that. They need to see these things and see these conversations from a real perspective.
it's funny that you say that because like even when I finished school and then I moved away and then I came back to visit my mom because she's still in the hood. And I saw one of the young boys I never saw in years. Like he was probably like 17 at the time, but he used to be like 6, 7. And then he used to always ask me, what are you doing? And I used to always tell him, right? But God knows what everybody else is telling him. He goes, oh, that's not what I heard. And I said, what did you hear? You know what I'm saying? He goes, doesn't even matter. He said he was happy for me. And then I turned back to him and I said, let me tell you something. This is because he used to always play ball. I said, if you're not 6'5", study your books, right? And when you study your books, it will carry you further than being 6'5", believe it or not. And I saw him the other day. The kid's in university. It actually made me proud because it's funny how it happened because he called one of my boys and my boy called me and he's like, you know what stuck with me? And I said, what? He goes, if you're not 6'5", study your books. And he hung up the phone, right? And then I saw him 2 weeks later and you tell you guys also, it made me smile.
Of course.
Because I'm telling you guys right now, this kid was trouble.
Yeah.
He was trouble, but he changed. You know what I'm saying? So why? Because it's like what you said. It's like when they look up to you and then especially if you're giving them the right advice, because I could have been one of those guys, you hold this. Go sell 2 things and come back here and you know what I'm saying?
Change, yeah.
And what is he going to do? Because he doesn't know any better. But when I told him be 6'5", and he's like 5'11", but because he didn't end up being 6'5", he goes, he's studying his books. And I said, brother, that's the best thing that's going to happen for you. And I promise you. And he said his life's been on a good track so far. So when I heard you say that, that's what just, that's what brought me back to that story for that kid.
And I have like a similar story, but it didn't turn out that way. I have a young boy, like love him to this day. A lot of people ask me, why do I invest so much time in him? When I was younger, I did like a mentorship in university and he was a part of it. Just reminding me of myself, like we're the same complexion, same height, everything. And like, I just wanted to show him. But I think at the time, like you said, you can't just be because you're black, right?
Exactly.
He's has all these other voices in his head where he's probably looking at, these are the guys. And me, I'm at university. What could I really do to shape his life if these guys are putting him onto racks and cars and girls and all this stuff? And like, I can see like now he comes to me and he's like, yo, this is going on. And like, he wants out, but he doesn't know how, right? And like, I tried to be that example, whereas like, I send him our podcast all the time. Like, yo, bro, watch this, yo. Just like, see if you get some value from this. And I always talk to him and I just want to like help change that trajectory like you. Like, I want that smile on my face, just by like you said, like, yo, study your books. And it's hard because, again, I see myself and I want to see him do good, but I guess the guy's got him right now. But I'm gonna continue to fight.
You got to keep this in mind too. And this is like something that we experience when we're in these schools or doing these professions in the community where you're speaking to these people. You might have them for an hour to 2 hours out of the week, if it's a weekly event or even if it's monthly. They're with these guys
Daily, dog.
daily, hours, doing shifts with them. So obviously the influence is going to be a lot more different, even though they want to take what you're saying, but it's like the dose is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to increase that, but it's on them. And all you could do is, like you said, set that example and let them know that, yo, anytime, just holler. We're here. Like, that's all you could really do. But besides giving the example, you got to be that example. So that way they can find that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to open a question up to the room a little bit. I know I have a question here about support, and I want to flip it around. So basically what the question is asking is like, what kind of support do you currently rely on, right? That's the question that I wrote down, but I kind of want to flip it on us because you do the work in the community. We're starting to do the work in the community, right? Especially after this last panel, like I said, I'm inspired by seeing these kids, right?
Definitely.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, how willing are we to actually do the work? Like every time, I've seen it from when I was young. I've seen community work and people coming in and speaking or whatever, but I've never seen them again. And like you just touched upon, you said,
they're doing shifts.
They're doing shifts with these other people. So even if they did want to hear and take our advice, they only hear our voice way in the back of their head now. So it's like, what other things can we do other than just talking out 1-2 times a month or whatever it is? Like you open up the phone lines to them. Like
for me, you just gotta stick to that same formula what they're doing. If they're going that 8-hour shift, you gotta do a shift too. For my day today started 9 o'clock. I registered 2 new individuals to our program. Left from there, went to a Catholic school, talked to 2 different classes. Then I hit up the West End for a quick second to go mentor some next youths that I deal with down there. And then now I'm here. And I do that every day, 7 days a week.
Brother,
it's a detriment to other things in my life, but when you live in that purpose, this is what I do.
You gotta respect it. That's commendable, dog.
No, you're right. I think back to even like when I was in university, we had like part-time coaches. And I remember like never listening or holding on to anything they said because I'm like, you're not here. Like you can't really do anything for me. And like when we started that mentorship, one of the things that was always in like the forefront of my mind was, okay, I can't just be there every Tuesday when we go to whatever environment it was with them. It's like, yo, guys, here's my number. Yo. And I was always trying to like give them incentives. I'm like, yo, if you guys got good grades, show me all A's, bro. I'm a university student. I'm like, I'll buy you guys a chain. Like, you know what I mean? These things that they want. But like, when we're talking about how open you got to be, like you said, it has to be a frequent thing. Because if you show up once, then the next month you come again, or then they don't see you for the next 2 months, nothing you're saying is they're going to hold on to, right? So it has to be a constant drilling thing. And it's not going to happen one day. It's not going to happen 2 days. It's going to be a thing over time.
So, like, that's the thing for me was always like, when I had like in schools or whatever, like a speaker come in or whatever, I'd be always like excited to hear or whatever. If somebody that was reoccurring, but then there'd be something that maybe happened, I got suspended, or, you know, like there'd be something where I just now miss out. So now I got to wait, I mean, potentially for another time. So it's like, how do we do that? Tashawn, talk to me. I haven't heard you for a bit, so you know what I mean?
No, you make an amazing point. I think like there's a few things that I want to unpack here. I think, firstly, one thing that I observed about myself, even if I just think about not even getting into the youth, just even like within the mental health space, I felt like I was doing a lot of talking about it, but I wasn't being about it. And those are 2 different things. I'd use my platform, talk about it, be like, guys, I'm struggling with but I wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, but how can I do something? Like, how can we take this a step further than just be talking? And that's where like the idea from Mind State you came from. Was like, let's actually act and do something. And it started with men, but the vision, Theon and I have talked a lot about this, is like men and young men. So the men, we're doing brunches, we're doing workshops, we're doing these events, but it's like, we're doing some of the work. And this is just the beginning stages, but it's like, we bring people together, we create community, and we actually do something where we work on something, we spend time together. But the grand vision for this, even in the future, is like mentorship. all the men who are in the community could pair up with young men. And they could actually spend time with some of the older men, like go to work with them, see what they're on, and realize like, you know, the life we live good lives that are fun, where we get to do what we want, where all of us have business, like we're doing great things. But it's like, only we see that with each other. But it's like, imagine we had like a young boy to be like, yo, this is what we're on. Like, look, we're making a podcast. Yo, we went to go speak on a panel. Yo, the man that went to On Vacation or Wonderland, or like we do fun. We went to comedy. We do stuff. We do stuff in the community, and it's like we can include young people in this. But it's like Andrew's saying, it's like it takes a shift. It takes more than one shift. Like you got to put in that time. But it's like the podcast for us, to be honest with you, to me, in my mind, this is us talking about it. This is a funnel. This is where it starts. People are like, oh, we're watching you guys. You guys are dope. Yo, you guys are having an event? We're going to come to the event. And at the event, it's like, yo, we also do these things. Oh, you guys do those things? Let's come to those things. That's how we get youth involved. Like, it's bigger than just us talking about it. But it's like, it is a journey. It does take time. But it's like, yes, like, we got to be about it. On the weekend, we were about it. We went, we spent time with the youth. I like just seeing how all of you guys, all of us together interacted with the youth and how the youth reacted to us. It just shows that like we're in the right place. They need it. We need it. We all need it. It's impactful for both people. But it's like, and this is the stuff about purpose. I can see us, we're walking in our purpose, but it's like, we got to be intentional about it and really step into it. But it's like, I think we're on the right track.
Absolutely.
I like even when you're saying like we have to do the work, I think even just having certain professionals on here, you know what I mean? Like again, we had Cassie on here, we're talking about life insurance. We've all done that work. We're talking about investments. We had Shaq on here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not just on this podcast just to talk at people and tell them like, yo, this is what you need to do. We're doing it because we're learning at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's important that people know that too. Like, we're not just words are spitting.
That's what makes it organic. Sorry, brother, but that's what makes it organic, right? And just to let people know, like, anything organic grows in dirt, right? So you just have to keep that in mind, right?
It's crazy because it's a big impact, and we don't even see it. I'm gonna show you guys something. You guys it might have happened, it might have not. Did you guys get any follows from those kids?
Yeah, I saw her.
Yeah, he followed me on Instagram, right? And I was like, wow, he remembered, or they had it written down, and he went and he followed up. You want to know why? Because when we sat down and we spoke to them, we made an impact that he remembered something, and he's like, you know what? I got to connect with these guys. I got to see what's going on, because I was shocked when I saw his name pop up on my feed, right? And I'm gonna hit him up because when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I have to hit him up to see how he's doing.
Keep connection.
Yeah,
he took the first step.
Yeah, bro.
He took the first step.
That's commendable in and of itself, you know?
And brother, just to say to your guys' points, I think that was one thing that like I've noticed from, because like I've been speaking in the schools and like doing workshop, like I've been doing it for a while. And the one thing that I always felt in my heart is like, where's the aftercare for these people? Like what happens after I come speak, hail, and my favorite part about doing these things is not the speaking. It's after. It's after when I can sit with them, talk to them, get to know them. Me speaking to them, I can see it's impactful, but the real impact is like the connection. But then it's like I just leave. And I feel bad about that. But I'm like, what can I? And that's still an answer that I'm trying to work through. But it's like, I felt like, yo, we're just leaving. I'm just leaving these kids after just really like connecting with them. And like, that's what Freck's pretty much saying is like, yo, reach out and connect with them. But it's like, sometimes that becomes a point where it's like, it's not sustainable to stay in contact with hundreds and hundreds of kids, but what can you do?
Yeah.
I think that's the question that, in my mind, it's worth answering.
Absolutely.
I think even what we're doing, Mind Stay You, like what we were planning and we're thinking about doing, we essentially can build a funnel now where we can. It's not just one time where we're meeting these kids, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be like you or I or anybody in this room. Now we have a plethora of men.
You create the platform,
our community, where they can just continue to integrate. So it's not necessarily on us meeting or mentoring 100 kids. It's 100 men that we have mentoring 100 kids, right?
Build your own machine.
Exactly.
So this is where we're doing business development.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, holy, we're in it.
The ideas are flowing. Everybody's mind's working.
Trust me. Andrew, how do you maintain your mental and emotional health as you continue on this path of your redemption?
For me, doing that is just, it takes a strong will to do that, but it also takes belief and faith. And part of that, for me, started very early in this last little bit that I did, where my spiritual maturity went up. Just knowing the factors of what I wanted out of life and just feeling like something has to change. If you're real, this has to change. And I know you're real, so this has to change. But I also know that it's on me. So a switch kind of went in my mind where it was like, knowing that this is what I want, this is what I need, I'm going to bring these things to me. So books started coming to me, started finding out laws of attraction, reading the Bible, different things, and then different, I would call them mentors, older heads that would come by and started kicking some game about investments, stock trading. I'm like, and they brought up like buy low, sell high, whether that's the right method or not, but the formula got into my brain like it's the same kind of thing, right? So if you can adapt that to that and turn it into that and not have to worry about that, then that. So, you know? So I'm like, yo, I might as well just do this. Like, been trying these things for years and it's not, obviously, I'm getting the same results. So knowing that formula and saying that in my head, like, yo, I know my capabilities. I know my value. I know my worth, mentally and physically, spiritually, all of that. So I'm like, let me turn that into a way where I could show not just myself, but show the world. Even though it's not like, it sounds reverse in a way, but I'm so confident in myself that I'm not even worried about me. It's the people that I let down. It's the communities that I let these negative things happen in. It's those people, the people who are looking at, see, he can't change. And it's not like I have something to prove to them, but it's to the younger ones to show them that when they think you're incorrigible and you can't change, change is possible. So how do you show that? You could tell people that, but like we said earlier, it feels like it's just talk. So you got to be that living example. Not that we're God or Jesus, but he came as that example. How to do things. I can't put myself in no comparison. That's blasphemy, but
No, of course.
we're supposed to be able to be those examples.
The image.
A vessel of God.
Exactly. So if we're that, if that's what we're supposed to do, we got to live it.
I have one question left before we get to the game. I don't know if anybody else has any more questions for him, but I'll just kick off this last question if you guys want. Yeah? All right, it's just a big one.
Why are you making it so
It's a
serious?
big question, Doc.
Okay.
If you had one thing or one thing to leave or a message to give to our viewers, just for the young men out there watching, or anybody, man or woman, you're right, anybody, watching to help them become just a better human, a better person in their path of purpose, what would you say?
Time. Time is of the essence. And when you really take that in, take a look, and really understand what that means, time is of the essence, that's our greatest investment. It's time. It's the only thing you can't get back. So whatever you use that on, you spend it on, make it impactful, make it useful. So that was that's the main thing I want them to know, to understand, value that. That's important. And understand how important that is. It's all things. When you go to jail, what do? They take your time. When we were talking earlier about the investments, did I say? It's going to be longer, time. And that literally came down to money. So that's the main thing I want you guys to know, time. It's of the essence, value that. Make sure you understand that it's not something to waste. It's not something you could get back. So whatever you do with that, make sure you use it wisely.
I love that.
Yeah, dog, that's a part.
On that note, Deshaun, we got a game.
All right, Andrew. So we have this game called Let's Talk About It. It's a game designed to get men to be able to talk more about how they feel. What it is a card deck. There's 3 tiers to the cards. White is like more surface, blue is a little bit deeper, and black is like the deeper ones. So what we do is we have our guests pick one. You can either pose it to the room and answer it at the end. You can answer it first and then pose it to the room, and we all have to answer it.
Let's keep it black.
You want to pick it? you want to pick it? You want me to pick it?
Oh, don't matter. Go ahead. Okay. So this is for you guys to answer.
You have to answer as well.
But you can make us answer it first, or you can answer it first and then pass it to us.
What is one thing that you wish you said to someone that you've lost?
For me, that's easy. I lost a few people near and dear. One thing I wish I could say is another I love you, another I miss you, another just the expression of how much they mean to me. I feel like, especially for men, we don't do enough of it. Black men, we don't do enough of it. And then when people's time is up, they pass on, that's when we do a lot of our grieving and a lot of our spoken emotion. So I feel like, letting people know that type of thing when they are here speaks volumes. So that for me, I love you or I miss you, or, something that about it like.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I lost this person, but like how I mentioned my young boy, to let him know that like I love you and I'm never giving up on you. I want to see good for you. We all make mistakes. It's all part of our learning lesson. If you're watching this is a prime example of somebody that's done the work, that's willing to affect change in other people. And you can see that, like you said, time is of the essence, and it's not worth losing. So I would tell him to like really like, this is a prime example of somebody that you can learn from.
Okay.
Deshaun?
I got you.
You'll go last.
So you passed me the ball. That's crazy. At the end of the shot clock. I would say to my uncle specifically. He passed away when I was about grade 4. What is that? 8, 10, something like that. 9. I'd say thank you. And I'm just here trying to make you proud. Even though he was only there for like 9 years of my life, that was my guy. Like his soft demeanor. He was just like, he just had my back, like he'd keep me up when my grandma said go to bed, or my mom said go to bed. Like I'll be in the basement watching Bruce Lee movies with him, Jackie Chan movies. But he was just such like a gentle, kind soul. And he just felt like the glue that brought our family together, like, because no one could be mad when he's around. Like he was that guy. But he had sickle cell. And passed away from that. But I would just say thank you for the impact you had on my life. Like I feel like a lot of my creativity, a lot of like my dedication to like social impact, comes from him and his energy. Like he was just such a good soul, and it's like I wish he was here to see, like the man I become, because he'd be super proud. So I would just say, even though he was there for a short time, thank you.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you sharing that.
For me, I have 2 people. That's why I made Deshaun go first, if you must know stuff. I want to start off with an RIP to my grandpa.
RIP.
It's funny because when he used to call me, when somebody's calling you, you're like, I know why they're calling. It was always that when he would call me. So I do HVAC work, and this thermostat, nothing's wrong with this thermostat, but he always just called me to make sure that I'm working. You know, and he would always just call, and I was like, "Hey, Gramps, what are you doing? What's going on? You're working? Make sure you're working, eh? Because you're young right now, and next minute you look like me, you can't work. So make sure you're working. Bye," and hang up. You know, and you miss those type of calls, right? So, and you don't get those calls no more,
Yeah.
right? And then on top of it, like, he passed away, and like the family's just like, everybody's all over the place. He brought everybody together. So, next one would be my brethren D that passed away. I wouldn't say he passed away. He got killed. He got murdered. What I would say to him is, "Hey, what are you saying?" Like, just to hear his response. And his response, this is what he would do. "Chilling." You know, and I'd be like, "What do you mean you're chilling?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, when you're used to saying something to somebody and then all of a sudden, no, you can't. It's like, damn. You're lost for words. So that's why it's like, we all know I want to say I love you, or I miss you, or whatever, but it's just the things that you say to them on a consistent basis, what you don't get to say anymore. For me, that's what I would say to them.
Oh, definitely. For me, it's multiple people still, but it's one same answer, that it's not in vain. Your death wasn't in vain. And in that sense, I say that to be like, their death is somebody's life.
Mm.
And then that is, they live through me. Their influence on me and what I'm going to do and what I'm doing is because of them. So I just want to let them know that your influence is not in vain. All the things, the lessons they taught me, older people, even family members, down to my brethren that got passed in different sets of ways. But I would just say in one sum, it's not in vain. Your death is part of my experience. So that would be to give to other people and let that, their life, give others. Through their death, I mean, give others life, right?
Mm. All right, there's a great way to end that. Wow. I love that. I appreciate all you guys for sharing those, bro.
Bro, this was a pod. Bro.
Yeah.
Definitely respect to the man for having me.
Oh,
That's
thank you
real
for
talk.
Respect for showing up on
bro.
time
Dog.
and showing us. No, that's not even funny. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you said time is of the essence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And, you know, it was good seeing you right when I saw you. Know, I knew you. I hailed you right away.
Yeah,
You see,
exactly.
I didn't even know you. I just felt the brotherhood right there.
Definitely.
You know, it's good having you. You know, and I can see on everybody's face, you made everybody go. You know, they love having you. I can hear it in their voice because some of these guys don't really speak. You know, don't let them fool you.
That's funny coming from the guy that I mean that's chilling over there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Andrew, you shouted out a couple things at the top of the pod. I want you to promote those things yet again. You know what I mean? I think those are important. So, can you please shout those things out again? You know?
Definitely. I have my social enterprise, BLESSE. That's Born Leaders Elite Sanctified Social Enterprise. On Instagram, BLE.SSE1. And Born Leaders Elite on Instagram also. So definitely look out for some things. And right now I have a symposium that's coming out in May. Want you guys to check that out too.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yes, no, bro.
You'll see and hear more about that soon though.
I appreciate that, bro. Definitely gotta keep contact, you know?
Definitely.
That's important.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, you know, remember to like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? From He's a Guy podcast to y'all. Appreciate you. We'll see you. Be safe.
We out.